Hey guys, I'm Alison King. Thanks for joining me for this week's edition of WMH Music Zone Weekly, where we'll find out what's making the headlines. So grab a cuppa and kick back in your favorite chair, while I take you through the very latest in music news both here in Australia and all over the globe. But having said that, how about this week I do something a little bit different? Please join me as I find out exactly what songs saved each of these 10 artists' music careers. So let's take a look.
Number 10. Jonas Brothers, Sucker. Over a decade after they were first burning up the charts, the Joe Bros hit their biggest peak yet. In 2013, the Jonas Brothers disappointed fans when they canceled their tour, announced their split, and pursued solo careers and side projects. This period lasted until 2019, when they finally announced their reunion. Kevin, Joe, and Nick were all on board for Sucker, their comeback single, which blew their past success out of the water. While it was unknown if the group's grown-up fans from their Disney era would still be interested in their music, they came out in droves to support Sucker. The song went number 1 and 5 times platinum, with nearly everyone re-laminating their Jonas Brothers stand cards. Number 9. Pink, You in Your Hand. Despite its title, Try This, many listeners skipped over Pink's third studio album. None of the singles caught on, so she went back to the drawing board for its follow-up, aptly titled I'm Not Dead. While the lead single, Stupid Girls, was a moderate success, second single, Who Knew, didn't go too far. Thankfully, her next song, You in Your Hand, was bold and controversial enough to halt her unlucky streak. With a catchy tune and explicit lyrics about shutting down creepy guys at the club, it had more longevity than Pink's other recent songs and set her back on the right track. Following the success of You in Your Hand, she re-released Who Knew, which became one of her most enduring hits to date. Number 8. Train, Hey Soul Sister. After Drops of Jupiter and some minor hits, many thought Train had left the station for good. The group took a multi-year hiatus in 2006 after their fourth album, For Me It's You, underperformed, and it seemed unlikely they'd recapture their early success. But after releasing Hey Soul Sister in 2009, it slowly climbed up the Hot 100 until reaching a peak of number 3 in 2010. The Jason Mraz-esque ukulele song received mixed reviews for its corny lyrics, but it undeniably sounded like a massive smash. Hey Soul Sister even surpassed Drops of Jupiter in popularity, becoming Train's signature song over a decade into their mainstream career. Number 7. Aerosmith, Walk This Way. If you thought the Bad Boys from Boston were content to stay a 70s band, dream on. After guitarist Joe Perry's 1979 firing, singer Steven Tyler's substance issues, and diminishing musical returns, Aerosmith had a rough go in the early to mid-1980s. Even when they reconciled with Perry, their 1985 album, Done with Mirrors, wasn't the comeback the group hoped for. Instead, that would happen a year later in the form of Walk This Way, Run DMC's remake of Aerosmith's 1975 hit. The rap group's version, which included contributions from Tyler and Perry, resurrected Aerosmith's career out of left field and granted crossover success to both bands. For the rest of the 80s and into the 90s, Aerosmith fans wouldn't want to miss a thing.
Hey, don't forget guys, if you're enjoying this, please consider tapping our subscribe button at the end of this video.
Number 6. Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing. One of Motown's defining artists, Marvin Gaye is synonymous with the soul music of the 1960s and early 70s. Sadly, the next decade was rough for him. Gaye experienced depression, addiction, and tax issues, and one of his unfinished songs was put on his 1981 album, In Our Lifetime by Motown, against his wishes. After parting ways with a label, Gaye went back to his roots with Sexual Healing. Updating the subject matter of his earlier hit, Let's Get It On, the 1982 song was a sultry slow jam with funk elements. Sexual Healing scored Gaye his first 2 Grammys nearly 20 years into his career. While Gaye would tragically die less than 2 years later, Sexual Healing allowed him to enjoy a career revival. Number 5. Britney Spears, Womanizer. The Princess of Pop has never left the public's radar, but she's had periods of staying there for all the wrong reasons. Britney Spears' music career was doing fine when she saved it with 2008's Womanizer. Her previous album, Blackout, remains a fan favorite to this day. However, she was just coming out of the other side of her tumultuous personal life, and it was unknown how it would impact her career. Thankfully, the obnoxiously catchy Womanizer showed that Britney's struggles wouldn't impact her hit-making abilities. The song became her first number 1 since her debut single, Baby One More Time, and included a hit music video that served as the sequel to Toxic. But when people thought that she was slipping under, Britney found the perfect antidote. Number 4. Cher, Believe. Mariah Carey may be known as the Songbird Supreme, but Cher is more like a phoenix. She's practically immortal, always rising from the ashes and reinventing herself just when people are close to counting her out. Her most impressive pivot came in the late 90s. After health struggles, unsuccessful releases, and the death of Sonny Bono, her ex-husband and former duet partner. Cher's comeback single, Believe, had a whole new sound, and we don't just mean a change in genre. Besides having a club-ready Eurodance vibe, it became one of the first hit songs to use autotune. Going number 1 and earning Cher a Grammy for Best Dance Recording, Believe restored everyone's faith in the goddess of pop. Number 3. Santana, Smooth. Man, it's a hot 100 chart topper. In 1999, Carlos Santana and his eponymous band made one of music's most random comebacks. Not being anywhere near the top of their game since the early 1980s, Santana stopped releasing new albums altogether following 1992's Milagro. However, after Carlos Santana had a meeting with record exec Clive Davis in the mid-1990s, the band began to work on Supernatural, their blockbuster return to commercial relevance. The much-memed lead single Smooth featured vocals from Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20 and compared love to a sweltering heatwave. With an updated sound, infectious guitar hook, and a current name in the mix, Smooth not only saved Santana's career and legacy, but gave them some coveted pop crossover appeal. Number 2. Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do With It? With just one song, the Queen of Rock and Roll went from a secondhand emotion to the first artist on everyone's minds. Tina Turner first rose to fame in a duo with then-husband Ike Turner in the 1960s. Although they stopped working together in 1976 and divorced 2 years later, while Tina's first few solo works didn't take off, that changed when she took a 5-year hiatus and returned with the 1984 album Private Dancer. One single, What's Love Got to Do With It, was a modern, sexy rebrand that kickstarted her comeback as a free single woman ready to mingle with solo success. At the time, Tina became the oldest woman to top the Billboard Hot 100 at 44 years old. Number 1. Mariah Carey, We Belong Together. Most people associate glitter with parties and celebrations, but in Mariah Carey's case, it's majorly derailed her career. The 2001 movie and soundtrack album Glitter were poorly received commercial disappointments, and Carey's 2003 follow-up album Charm Bracelet failed to mitigate the damage. Thankfully, she got back on track for her next album, 2005's The Emancipation of Mimi, particularly on the single We Belong Together. Interestingly, the R&B ballad lamenting a failed relationship could almost be read as a response to her declining career. Fortunately for Carey, the song totally turned things around. It became one of the longest-running number 1 songs in history and spawned a feature-length comeback with The Emancipation, showing that Mariah Carey and the top spot truly do belong together.
Now it's time to check out the Australian Top 20 this week. So now it's time to find out who's topping both the US and UK charts this week.